Before I start, I just want to thank all my fan supporters. This appreciation award is for all of you, and I have to admit the Snyder Cut movement has in a way inspired me to help support a cause that will help so many that are in need of help, especially kids and their parents. And it's a nightmare not knowing as to whether or not your child is going to have a second chance at life. So in the inspirational words of Aunt May, when you help someone, you help everyone, which is a very familiar phrase. You've probably heard it when I used it on Aunt May's gravestone in the Spider-Man PS4 video game, which is a nice homage in Spider-Man No Way Home. And I know this is a change in topic because I usually cover stuff from Marvel and Spider-Man, but I'm also a DC fan. And this is a very important day. This is the 1-year anniversary that Zack Snyder's Justice League came out, and it's been insane on social media for support to restore the SnyderVerse, not just from fans but the actors as well, which is fucking awesome. And Zack Snyder also released this today, and even though I have a legit source from Sony only, I did hear a few things on what will happen when the Discovery merger is officially set to go that I will only share with my fan supporters. Look, I have never seen so much love and support for a director and a version of his film that fans have been wanting and demanding to see. I can't imagine any Marvel fans doing anything like this for a Marvel film. These fans have raised so much money for suicide prevention and have so much love and respect for a director who is very well respected and loved, not just by fans, but other actors and crew members who have worked with him on film. And I remember there was so much controversy and so much hate with Joss Whedon, to the point where things got really ugly between the actors he worked with for the reshoots of Justice League. And it wasn't just for that film. After that, many others came forward from other projects that he's worked on in the past and claimed the same thing, to the point where I don't think he'll be getting work anytime soon, especially with the way he reacted to those rumors and allegations. He was a real jackass about it. And I remember how excited everyone was when the Snyder Cut movement was a huge success, and we were finally going to be able to watch his version of the Justice League film. And I gotta say, I was a little worried, that it was pretty much going to be the same film, and nothing was really going to change, but I was absolutely floored with how good that film was. I mean, I don't even remember how many times I've watched it already, but it's just so great. The acting is just so amazing, the story, the direction it was going in, and honestly, I'm going to say this, it was definitely 100 times better than the majority of the Marvel films that I've watched. Don't get me wrong, the Marvel Cinematic Universe obviously is higher in the food chain, or in the film industry chain, but this film was definitely like Avengers Infinity War good. And the main reasons as to why this film needed to be 4 hours is because, you have 3 new characters that haven't been properly introduced or had their own solo films yet, which is what Marvel did with their characters before they went to an Avengers type film. And their backstory was important for a film that, was about coming together to fight against a dangerous villain whose motive is to conquer the planet. Unlike the Marvel films, which already had the solo films of each character, so it was much easier to tell a story without having to worry about explaining each character's origins within a 2-hour time frame. Which is why I always believe that it's so much more, I would say, it's a lot better to have a TV show where you have more time, instead of like a 2-hour film where you gotta pretty much put everything together in such a short time frame. I also love how Darkseid had more of a story within a short time frame that was badass, and to the point, rather than what Marvel did with Thanos and showing him for very brief moments and not even knowing what his true intentions were until Avengers Infinity War. And I know that in the end credit scene there was a mention of courting death for the first Avengers film, which follows more of the comic storyline, but then they went in a completely different direction for the film afterwards, which kind of didn't make any sense. There's also a huge difference between these two villains. See, Thanos believes in wiping half the population for the greater good, and doesn't see himself as a villain. He sees himself as a hero. See, Darkseid doesn't give two shits and wants to wipe everybody out and conquer the planet and turn Superman evil. Well, you know the whole storyline. And Diana's knowledge of the mother boxes comes from finding a cave painting that explains the mythology of Darkseid, the anti-life equation, and the mother boxes, because that was never fully explained in the previous film. And the Snyder version expands on Aquaman's story, well, pretty much his backstory, in a way that ties better with the Aquaman film. And then we have Victor Stone Cyborg. His backstory is that he's a hacker, scientific genius, a football prodigy in college before a car accident killed his mom and then left him for dead. It's pretty cool that Cyborg can actually control and infiltrate any kind of technology, which allows him to even manipulate banks in the stock market. How all the Justice League members are in agreement in bringing Superman back, because he's the only one strong enough to fight Steppenwolf and the other threats. And I just didn't like how in Joss Whedon's version, Bruce and Diana are having an argument about the pros and cons of bringing Superman back from the dead. That was just fucking stupid. Also, how Victor's father sacrificed himself to help the team, and the way they showed Victor's grief despite his very complicated relationship with him. That was very powerful, and that was something that was missing from the previous film. Well, the theatrical version, that was complete dog shit. And I love the dialogue from Jor-El and Jonathan Kent, which was very powerful and emotional callback from Man of Steel, when Jor-El says he will help them accomplish wonders, and Jonathan Kent says, "Fly, son, it's time." That was fucking awesome. And also the Black Superman suit, which was very vital to his resurrection from the comics. Superman's iconic black suit is also known as a recovery suit. It can recharge Clark's solar powers when they have been weakened, so that was another reason as to why it was important for him to have this suit in this film. I also love how Jeremy Irons as Alfred, who is also an amazing and talented actor, has a lot more interactions with each member of the Justice League. And it's so awesome to see the Flash go back in time to help Cyborg with the supercharged to disable the mother boxes, especially that scene with Iris West. That was fucking hilarious. It needed to be in there. And Gal Gadot was so badass in this film, and I'm glad that all the perverted Joss Whedon scenes were not in the film, so I can understand as to why she was pissed off and had an issue with Joss Whedon. And Wonder Woman's theme was really amazing, and it fits the character really well, especially after the disappointment of Wonder Woman 1984. That was just dog shit. And that one scene interaction with the little girl where Wonder Woman says, "You're okay, princess," and then in return she asks, "Can I grow up to be like you one day?" And she says, "You can be anyone that you want to be," which was so touching and heartfelt. I don't understand as to why Joss Whedon took that scene out. And Joe Morton's dialogue at the end of the film is very emotional, especially the dialogue between Ben Affleck's Batman and Jared Leto's Joker, which was on par with Christian Bale's Batman and Heath Ledger's Joker. Not in the physical aspects, obviously, because that didn't happen, but I just literally was like, it was like a jaw-dropping moment watching these two go at it. And the funny part is that they weren't actually there. Like, they filmed those scenes separately, so it was just like, holy fuck, that was pretty amazing acting right there. And the revelation of General Swan, which character is actually revealed to be Martian Manhunter, is vital to the character story that's been around since Man of Steel. I know there's been rumors and fans wanting to be, for him to be that character for a very long time now, so I'm glad they actually did that. I mean, look, I can go on and on about how awesome this movie was, but those are the main reasons to why this film needed to be that long, and what makes it a way better film that the theatrical version was, which was, like I said, dog shit and just pure dumpster fucking fire. And I'm going to talk about as to what I heard the plans are for the SnyderVerse for fan supporters only. So if you want to know, join the fan support. And please understand that my legit sources are from Sony for the Spider-Man films, but this is what I heard from another source that I trust as to what will happen once the Discovery merger is 100% finalized.
Thanks, Tiger. You just hit the jackpot.
Woo!